In Parshat Va'era, we hear God say to Moshe, "V'gam ani shamati et nakat bnei Yisrael, va'ezkor et briti." I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, and I remembered my covenant. This verse captures something deeply human, the importance of remembering to ask for help, and the sacred act of truly listening when others do as well. Let's begin with Ibn Ezra, one of our great commentators from 12th century Spain, who was both a philosopher and a poet. He reads this verse as a turning point that God sent Moshe because the children of Israel had repented and cried out unto me. Their journey towards redemption began not only with God's action, but with their own voice, their willingness to cry out to ask for help. It reopened a pathway to hope. Ovadia ben Yaakov Sforno was an Italian rabbi, biblical commentator, philosopher, halachic authority, and physician who wrote commentaries on a good portion of the Tanakh. And he adds something beautiful here. He says that when the people cried out, they showed themselves fit for me, God, to remember my covenant. In other words, when their pain became a prayer, their cry rekindled the covenant itself. Sforno connects this to Tehillim. When he saw their distress and heard their cry, he remembered his covenant. So often we think strength means holding it all in, pushing through silently. But sometimes true gevura, real strength, is the ability to say, I need help. That cry, whether to God or to one another, is not weakness. It's courage. It's relationship. It's what brought our ancestors closer to redemption. Now, only a few verses later, we see a heartbreaking contrast. Vayedaber Moshe ken el bnei Yisrael velo shamu el Moshe. Moses spoke to the children of Israel, but they didn't listen to him. They couldn't hear him. Ibn Ezra explains that their ruach, their spirit, was too short, ktsar ruach, because of the crushing weight of the exile and labor. They simply didn't have the inner space to listen. Here, Reggio, a 19th century Italian commentator known for blending reason and faith, takes it further. He said the people's lack of attention wasn't about small faith. Lo ba'avur heyotam ktanei amunah, but from deep sorrow and exhaustion. Their pain was so great that even faith couldn't breathe. He describes kotzer ruach, shortness of spirit, as what happens when grief and pressure block out light and understanding, a kind of spiritual suffocation. Reggio contrasts this with erech ruach, length of spirit. That's when we breathe deeply, expand our emotional space, and allow room to listen, to reflect, and to hope. And that too is a challenge for us. In our time, with so much noise, tension, and division, sometimes we need to pause, take a breath, and listen deeply to God, to one another, to the voices we've tuned out. Because in listening, we allow healing to begin. We then meet the opposite of listening, paro. V'lo yishma alechem paro. Paro will not listen to you. Reggio notes that Paro's deafness wasn't because he didn't see miracles. It was because they didn't truly discomfort him personally. His body felt no pain, his heart no humility, so he continued on, unmoved. Later, when the plague of hail ends, we read, Vayal Paro ki chadal hamatar vayosef lachto. As soon as the hail stops, he continues to sin. Or Chaim explains that his repentance evaporated the moment the suffering stopped. His heart hardened again, and now even more. Paro had kotzer ruach of a different kind, not from oppression, but from arrogance. His refusal to listen made him smaller, more enslaved to his own pride. So in this Parsha, we hear three kinds of voices. The Israelites who cry out and are heard, the Israelites who cannot hear because their spirits are broken, and Paro, who refuses to hear because his heart is closed. Each of us moves through these states in our own ways, moments of crying out, moments of overwhelming, and moments when we just don't want to hear the other side. But the Torah invites us to stretch our spirit, to move from kotzer ruach to erech ruach, from silence to voice, from hardness to empathy, because real covenant, whether with God, with our people, or with one another, lives in that space between the voice that cries out and the ear that truly listens. Ve'ezkor et briti, and I remembered my covenant. I wish us all to remember, to ask for help when we need it, to hear those who are calling out, and to keep our spirits long enough to hold one another with empathy and faith.